And hello, welcome back. In the previous video, we have started coding our voting system. In this lecture, we will build it and publish it on the blockchain. Let's start. Okay, so here we have our package, very simple functionality. We just define here one function to create proposal, and once the proposal is created, is shared. So it's a shared object. Now let's try to build it, but I mentioned one thing. I don't like my folder structure currently because maybe I will have multiple packages here. So I would like to have here one main folder for our packages. So I'll right click here and create here a new folder, and I will call it simply contracts, like this. And the voting system I will drag to the contracts folder. Okay, so we have this structure, we have a front end, and in the front end we have a contract, in the contracts we have voting system, and here is their voting system files. Okay, now we can try to build it. So build process is checking your code and building it into the bytecode. We already previewed the bytecode in SUI Vision. So go to the terminal. In your voting application, you need to go into your package. So you need to go into your voting system folder. So do it like this: cd contracts, cd voting system, and now we can build it. So let's write your commands: sui move build, and this will build it. So you can see first is updating the dependencies, and this will download SUI dependency. If you have already downloaded this before, I don't see that it has been downloading anything, but for you, when you're doing it first time, you should see that SUI should be downloaded. And we see here also that it's including not only SUI dependency, but also standard library dependency. Okay, and building the voting system. So now when you will go to your code, you will open here, you have here now build folder, and in the build folder, you have here voting system, and here you have a bytecode sources. Okay, that's your move code, but you have also here bytecode, and that's your MV extension. That's the actual bytecode. When I will open it anyway in the text editor, it will be not very readable. But that's basically this version of the code. When you look at this package, for example, that will be this version of the code. There's row instructions for the execution context. Okay, and we have also dependencies, so you can see our package depending on the SUI package and the standard library package, and also they are bytecode instructions, so they are also transformed into the bytecode. We can also see the sources here. That's our code. You can see the normal code dashboard.move that what we have wrote is also included here, and also dependencies. So we have here SUI dependencies of all of SUI code we can use. Okay. And also other standard library. So definition for the strings, hashes, the types, U64, vectors, and all of this is defined also here. Okay, so we have built it. Everything was successfully. So what we can do now we can publish it to the blockchain. Go to your terminals. We are currently with your SUI client addresses, so I will be publishing it under this address 0x97, and ending of my address is B50. We can also check if we are on a testnet, SUI client active-env, I think. Yeah, we are on a testnet, so we'll be publishing this under the testnet. If you want to publish your package, you will write your command SUI client publish. That should be already enough to publish our package, but we can also specify here optionally our gas budget. So how much of SUI or how much MIST we are willing to spend for this transaction. So we can specify here dash gas dash budget and the value. So I am willing to spend for this transaction the max 0.1 SUI. So this is 100 million MIST. So 1 with 8 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now when I will press enter, this will take the package, the bytecode of the package, and will send a transaction to the SUI blockchain, and yeah, the package should be published. So let's press enter. The information we will get back will be at first overwhelming. Will be a lot of information, but we will try to digest it, and we'll go one by one from top to bottom. So here you have it. The transaction and your package has been published successfully. We can start from the top to the bottom. The most important part actually for us is here, the object changes. But anyway, let's take a look at the top. That's lots of information you can see here. Okay, So we have here transaction digest is the identifier for our transaction we can look up on SUI Vision or SUI Scan. So yeah, let's go immediately to look it up. Search this, copy it, and go to your browsers. Anyway, you are in your browser. Let's go to SUI Scan or SUI Vision. Okay, for this, I will go to SUI Scan. The same SUI Vision will get you the same information, but formatted maybe differently. I'm preferring SUI Scan. So it's up to you, whatever you like more, SUI Scan or SUI Vision. Now, as you see here, and I will scroll on top of the page on the right side, top here, where it says connect, it says also mainnet. And to click at this, and we would like to preview the testnet. So click here on the testnet. Okay. And I will search here for our hash. So paste it here. And here it is. 6R4 for me, for you, for sure different. And here is our transaction block. So you can see the transaction. We have published the package with the following ID. Okay, that's the first information. You can see that publish has been packaged. The package has been published under this ID. We can also preview it in our terminal. Go to your terminal. For a second, let's scroll down here. On the bottom, when you see the object changes, and also you will see here the published object here. Actually, this is dashboard. No, this is a package ID. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's a module dashboard. So published objects, and here is a package ID. And you can see it's the same ID as it says here, of course. I will copy this and I will search it here. You'll see it's the same ID, published object. So that's our package has been published. Okay, now let's continue from top to bottom. So here are informations about the sender. So who made the transaction? Sender is our address, 0x97 ending B50, and that's my address. We can also verify it, of course. Just in case, I will open here my wallet, and you can see that's my address, 0x97 and ending B50. Okay, back to terminal. Gas owner. So in SUI, you can specify also different gas owner that will be paying for this transaction. In this case, we are paying for the transaction, so we are and the gas owner. But you can also have on SUI something called sponsorship model, so you can deter the payment for the gas to the sponsors. In this case, we are not doing that, so we are the gas owner. So you just to know the sender and then gas owner in some cases can be different. In this case, we are making the transactions and we are paying for it, so we are the sender and we are also gas owner. Our gas budget, so that's what we have specified, that is 100 million mist, so 0.1 SUI. Gas price, so everything on SUI, when you're executing the code, when it's executed on the execution context on the node, is measured in gas units. And depending on how many gas units you spend, either for storage, so for example, you are storing some data on the blockchain, or you're executing some code on the blockchain. So for example, in your smart contract, you have some for loop and you're making some computation, you are spending gas units. And then you need to pay for them. And that's the price for 1 unit. So imagine you are spending, let's say, for your transaction smart contract call, that you're storing some data, or you're calling some functionalities, you're spending 15 units, gas units. Then you need to pay 15 multiplied by this gas price per unit, 1,000. So that will be 15,000 mist. Okay? Gas payment is also represented as the object here. So that's the payment for the gas. Also, we can look up everything in the Explorer. So you'll search for ID. For sure, you will find your informations. We can copy this ID for the gas payment. We can search it up here. Okay, just a few seconds, and here it is. That will be the payment, the coin. Okay. As I see here, this is actually coin we paid with. So this ID here represents the coin we have paid with. So that's our balance. See, that's the coin you're owning and you are paying with. Okay, when we search this ID for the gas payment, we just copy it and search it here in the same file in the terminal. Here you can see the mutated object. That's also the object we have mutated because everything is represented as the object on SUI, also coins. So you can see this gas payment is the same ID as this mutated object. And the account address owner of this coin is us. So you can see that's our address. We are owning this coin. We are paying for the balance. So that's this payment object you can see up there. That's our SUI coin we paid for the transaction. Okay, let's continue. We have a lot of information here. So that's a gas payment. Now the kind of the transaction is the program. This is the programmable transaction. So probably PDB. So programmable transaction blocks. Input object here, what we are providing as the input and we publishing our smart contract or the package is our address. That's what it says here. We are the senders. We are providing our address in the transaction. Now there are commands we are executing. So there is a command for publishing. That's what we are executing. We are going to publish the contract, and also we are transferring some objects internally. That's happening under the publish command. So publish command here specifies some dependencies, and these ones are probably dependencies for standard library and SUI library. I don't know if I mentioned to you, but that's the special addresses 0x1 and 0x2, 0x1, 0x1 and 0x2. If I'm not wrong, but it could be other way around, but I think 0x1 should be for standard library, library for move, and 0x2 should be SUI library. We already previewed it in dependencies, so all of these packages that specifying integers and strings and vectors, and all of this stuff is defined in these dependencies. So that's also part of this publish process. Transfer objects, we are transferring something here, but it doesn't really says what we are passing. It just says the result 0. So basically what this will tell me is something that was returned from the publish and was returned as the result at the index of 0, was passed here and was probably sent to this address from the input. So our input address is this, right? We pass as the input object. So something was sent, was taken from the result at the index of 0 and was passed to this address. Okay, here we cannot see it really, but we can take a look back here. And actually, let me go back to this transaction digest. So let's copy this transaction digest. I'll go back here and let's search for it. Okay. And by the way, this lecture will be quite long because I will be explaining everything. So if you find this kind of not interesting, you can skip to the next lecture if you already know all of this stuff, because I want to just really get you familiar with what's happening here. So here is this our transaction, and here we have our input. It's our address that we have talked about, and we have these commands, right? This publish command and transfer object command. So publish command, we have these two dependencies, and transfer objects, we have here this. So something that was returned from publish, okay, and then sent to the address. So we are now owner of the object probably because something was sent to our address. So when you will take a look at the changes here, in the section here, there are some object changes, and you can see from all of these objects that happened here, there were some object changes. One object has been created. And this object, when you hover over with your mouse, it says upgrade capability object, and now we are owners of this object. You can also see this relationship here. Current owner is our address, and we are owning this 0x2 package upgrade capability. What this object does, that's for the later lectures. Capability objects are special objects that give you some permissions to do some administrator stuff or different permissions. In this case, upgrade capability is for updating your package. Packages, so that what we have deployed here to the blockchain, are by default immutable. So you cannot change them. You cannot delete them from the blockchain. You cannot change them. But in some special cases, under certain circumstances, you can update your package. And for updating of the package, you actually need this object. You need to be owner of this object in order to update your package under certain circumstances or under certain conditions. Remember, package is by default immutable. You cannot delete it, you cannot change it, but under special conditions you can, but you need this object. And we are currently owner. And that's probably what's happening here. In publish command, here, this upgrade capability object was created, was returned, and sent to us, to this address. That's our address. Okay. Let's continue. Let's see the terminal and transaction effect. So here again, we have a digest. In what epoch this was executed. All right. Remember, the run of blockchain is divided into epochs. On the testnets are epochs going faster. On mainnet, they should be in 24-hour intervals. In the testnet, I think every 4 hours, or it's much quicker. Now, created objects. So that's the object that we have created. Okay, this is kind of duplicated because here created objects, and also down here you will see the same things. But yeah, anyway. So this created object. What is this object here? 0x56 and ending of a 9c account address owner. So this will be this upgrade capability because you can see specify the owner, and we are owner of this object. So when I will search for this ID, I can also find it down here when I will search in section object changes. This is upgrade capability object type. You see, we are owners here. That's more info here specified in object changes section. When you will go also back here and you will search for it, actually it didn't look for it, didn't find it because here you can see there's not complete string. There are some missing parts, and doesn't display the complete strings. But you can see when you look at the first part of this, it's a 0x56. Yeah, it is, and 079c is the ending. So that's this object upgrade capability that was created for us indeed. Okay, so we can go back where we have left. Okay, so this was the created object, this upgrade capability. Now, another created object was our package. It's immutable, you see here. When I will copy this ID again, I don't need to copy it because it will not display anyway completely on the web page. But remember the end starting string and ending one. So 639 and ending for me is 72D. So when I will take a look here, object changes here, 639 72D. That's the package that we have published. That's indeed it is. Okay, let's continue. So that was this one. And now mutated object. So that's the objects we have created. Then objects we have mutated. Okay, so what we have mutated, you can see we are owner of this object that we have mutated. We are owner of something that that was changed, and that is probably our payment. So our SUI coin that we have paid for gas fees. So we can again check it out. 0x6e is the beginning of this. Let's see what we have mutated. So here we have updated, and you can see it's indeed this object ID 0x6e, and ending of this is a C62. Okay, and we are owners of this object. These are SUI coin. Okay, again we can click at this and we can see our SUI coin. So how much we are owners of this coin and how much balance we have here. Okay, that's our balance on this SUI coin. Remember, you can be owners of objects on the SUI blockchain. That's you will be owner of the objects, because on SUI almost everything is represented as the object, and there are owned objects that have owner, and there are shared objects, as I was mentioning before. So you are as an owner, you are 0x1 to 3 others, let's say. You can own multiple objects. You can own different NFTs, different capabilities object, which will give you some rights, or how it says in the name, capabilities to do something with the object or to call specific functions. Okay, then you can own coins object, right? You can have different coins. You can have a SUI coin, you can have a blue coin, you can have a deep coin. Whatever coin you will buy, that's the coin you will be owning, and so on and so on. You can own proposal objects. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever you will create in your smart contract, you can create as an object, and you can assign owner to it, or you can make it shared, and then it doesn't have owner. Okay, let's get back to our main topic. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to transactions. So this was the balance we paid for, right? That we have talked already about. Let's go back where we are now. Mutate object. Okay, so that's what we have mutated. Gas object, we talked about this is payment for the gas. Okay, we are owner of this for this gas object that we have paid for the gas. Here it is. There's a SUI coin. Gas cost summary. So that's a detailed information about how much we paid for what, for storing of the data, what we have paid, that what was the computation cost for execution of our code, how much we will get back if we will free some resources. So, if, for example, we would free our upgrade capability that was created for us. That's how much of SUI we would got back, and that's the fees that will not be refundable. Okay, so refundable fees when you will free some of your resources from a smart contract, and non-refundable resources. Transaction dependencies, sometimes you will see in your transaction dependencies. So when you are using something in your transaction, for example, in this case, we are using here in transaction our SUI coin for payment of the gas fees. So our transaction depends on the SUI coin in order to be executed. Okay, and this transaction coin was before created from something. Okay, and we are depending on this because in a current transaction we are using the SUI coin. Okay, we are using SUI coin. I'm going to write it as a coin to pay for the gas fees, and we are tracking the other dependencies how coin was created before. So probably you will see here that we have minted coin. We actually not minted, but we got it from the faucet we have run. Remember, we run in our terminals. We run SUI faucet command, and that will send us one SUI. So we have used the faucet to get one SUI, and this one SUI was probably created in some process. So for example, it could be created from the staking process, or it could be just simply minted, or doesn't really matter. But that will be there for sure. There's some other dependencies for example, from staking, or some validator created this SUI. Doesn't really matter. Okay, but that's the list of the dependencies because we are using the coin in our transaction. We are listing all the dependencies that linked to the creation of this coin before that mutated this. Okay, so because we are mutating this coin, we need to see all the dependencies before that resulted in this coin, if it makes sense to you. Okay, hopefully it does. We can look it up. Okay, so we can look here this AD533. It's transaction dependency, and we can look up everything here. So we can search also this. Okay, and here you have it. So this transaction block. Okay, so what was here? Inputs. That's the. Okay, so you can see this coin was a result of move call to create proposal and split coins. Okay, so for me, I was outside of the lecture. I was testing out some things, and I'm ahead of you a little bit because I was using this my address to create some proposals behind the lecture, so testing out if everything works correctly. So you see, and before I use this SUI coin to create proposal. That's why the dependency here for the SUI coin is this. Okay, for you for sure, when you will copy this and you're doing it first time, when you will check your transactions here, there should be transfer objects, and you should see the transfer of SUI coin to your address. Okay, for me it's something else because I already played with this a little bit. So you should probably see here when you didn't do any transactions before, you should see here that the SUI coin was sent to you through faucet. So you should see here on the transactions and transfer objects to you. I have also somewhere video that when I was doing it first time, so I will include this here. Now you should see on the right side how it looked like when I checked this dependency. Okay, so dependencies of this, and let's look at the other dependencies here. Okay, and let's see what was the other dependency. This one here. So you can see the SUI was created from the staking process. So that's the initial dependency, how the SUI was even created. You can see some stakers here, some information, but it is really very detailed information. We don't need to really know much about this right now. Okay, so dependencies of your transactions. Now object changes, we previewed most of them, right? Created objects, we know that upgraded capability was created. All of these fields you see here, you can also check down here. Not here, we need to go one step back. Here. Okay, so that's these object changes you see here. So we have created upgrade capability object. We are all the owners. We have mutated the object, so this will be our SUI coin, our balance. And then we published one object, and that's the package under this package ID. And balance changes, and that's the last one. Okay, so that's our balance. Okay, so we are owner of this SUI coin that has been mutated, and we have minus this amount of mist now in the balance of this coin. So that's because we paid for the gas fees. Okay, so here you have it. Everything what I wanted to cover in this lecture. If something is still not clear, take a look at this. You have some questions about it, just ask me in the Q&A section. It's very important for me that you will understand this, at least partially. Not need to completely understand it right now, because we'll still be talking a lot about the concepts on SUI, but it will be good to have some basic understanding. Before we'll finish this lecture, I would like to store our package ID that we have now published to variable in our code. So please look at your package ID, what you have here in published objects, copy it, and go to your code. You can close this. Go to the frontend folder. We'll be using this package ID on the frontend to get our package on the frontend. So in the src folder in your frontend, create here a new variable and call it constants ts. Constants.ts, and I'll write here export const and call this variable testnet, uppercase, all cap uppercase, underscore package underscore ID, and store it as a string with this. Okay, so just not to lose this value. Anyway, if you will lose this for some reason, you cannot keep track of the package ID. Always you can look on your address. So here in my wallet, I can check my address that was responsible for publishing this. So I will copy this address. I can look it up here. Okay, I'll look my address. Right, I will go to activity. You see, I am opening two assets, by the way, two upgrade capabilities, because I have published two contracts. Yeah, my lecture was before. Part of the lecture was removed, and I had to re-record the new lecture, so that's why I published again the package, new package. That's why I have two upgrade capabilities. For you, should be one. Do not worry, that doesn't matter. Okay, and we can go now with our account to our activity, and we can see all the activities we have done. And for you, it should be just few. And the most important one should be on top, which is publish. Okay, that's what we are looking for, and that's our transaction. What I just preview to you, and the result of this transaction should be this package ID here. See, so you can copy it also from here. If you ever lost track of this, you can always look it up here on the testnet. By the way, the testnets information, I should also mention this. Testnet and devnet is sometimes wiped out. The information from the blockchain, the stored data, your contracts can be wiped out because it's just a testnet. It should happen once per month. On the testnet, it doesn't happen so often. On the devnet, it's happening more often. So if your data for some reason will disappear, or you cannot any longer, you could before communicate with your smart contract, but you cannot any longer to communicate with your smart contract, always check on SUI-scan if the smart contract is still published. Because if it's not, you need to redeploy it. Okay, so you would go again, the entire process again. If you will happen in the situation that your package will be not anymore on the blockchain, what you need to do, just go again with the same command. SUI client publish the contract. This of course will generate a new transaction. This will get you new package ID. And this new package ID just simply replace in all the places that we are using it. So in this case, only here in a constants, and it will override it here. Okay, so nothing bad happened. It's not really a bad thing that when your data will disappear from the blockchain, in the case of testnet, of course, then you just need to redeploy. So just again publish command, and you should be all set. Okay, so that should be it from this video. We'll continue with more stuff in the next one. Cheers.